Have you ever met someone who seemed to grow more charming as they aged, while someone else slowly became harder to be around? It is a quiet thing that happens over time. It is not about wrinkles, gray hair, or slower steps. Those things are part of life and carry their own beauty. But sometimes small habits begin to appear that change how others feel when they are around us. And often, the person doing them has no idea it is happening. I have seen this many times. A kind man or woman reaches their 60s or 70s and begins to notice fewer phone calls, shorter visits, or quieter conversations from the people they care about. It can feel confusing and even a little painful. But the truth is that some behaviors slowly push others away without us realizing it. Today, I want to gently talk about 8 habits that can make seniors seem less attractive to others after 60. These are not meant to criticize or shame anyone. In fact, many of us have done some of these things at one point or another. The good news is that once we become aware of them, we can change them. And when we do, something beautiful happens. Our presence becomes warmer, lighter, and more welcoming again. Growing older should never mean fading away. In many ways, it is a time when our character shines even brighter. So let us look at a few habits that sometimes appear in later life and explore how small changes can bring back the quiet charm that draws people closer. The first habit is constant complaining. Life after 60 is not always easy. The body aches in ways it did not before. The world seems to move faster than it used to. Prices rise, routines change, and sometimes the loneliness of quieter days can feel heavy. It is natural to want to talk about these things. But when every conversation begins to revolve around what is wrong, people slowly start to feel drained. I once knew an older neighbor named Harold. In his younger years, he was cheerful and friendly. But as time passed, almost every conversation he had became a list of complaints. The weather was always terrible. The town was changing too fast. His back hurt. The news was upsetting. Even when someone tried to share something good, the conversation would turn back to what was bothering him. At first, people listened kindly. But over time, visits became shorter. Neighbors waved from a distance instead of stopping to talk. It was not because they disliked him. They simply felt heavy after spending time with him. Negativity has a quiet weight to it. The human heart naturally seeks warmth and light. When conversations feel like a storm cloud, people begin to step away without meaning to. This does not mean you must pretend life is perfect. Wisdom does not ignore pain. But there is a difference between sharing honestly and living inside complaint. Sometimes a small shift in words changes everything. Instead of saying everything is going downhill, a person might say, life has its challenges, but I am grateful for the good moments that still come. That simple tone invites connection rather than pushing it away. The second habit is letting personal appearance slowly slip away. Now, this has nothing to do with trying to look young again. Aging is natural and beautiful in its own way. But appearance is not about vanity. It is about self-respect. Many seniors reach a point where they say something like, "I am old now, so it does not matter how I look." They begin wearing clothes that are stained or wrinkled. Hair goes uncombed. Small grooming habits disappear. But people notice these things more than we realize. I remember meeting a woman named Margaret at a small community gathering. She was 76 years old. Her clothes were simple but clean and carefully chosen. Her hair was neatly brushed, and she wore a gentle smile that seemed to brighten the room. Later, someone asked her why she always took time to dress nicely, even for small outings. She laughed softly and said something very wise. She said, "I do it because it reminds me that I still matter." That simple idea stayed with me. When we care for our appearance, we are not trying to impress the world. We are sending a message to ourselves. We are saying that our life still has value, that we still deserve dignity. And something interesting happens when we do this. Our posture improves. Our confidence grows. People naturally respond with more warmth and respect. It is amazing how a clean shirt, brushed hair, and a little attention to ourselves can change the energy we bring into a room. The third habit that can make seniors seem less attractive is talking only about the past. Memories are precious. They hold our stories, our struggles, and the beautiful moments that shaped who we are. Sharing those memories can bring joy to others. But sometimes a person becomes so focused on yesterday that they stop engaging with the present. I once sat with a grandfather who told the same stories from his youth every time we met. At first, the stories were fascinating. But after hearing them many times, the conversation stopped moving forward. He rarely asked about the lives of the people around him. It was as if time had frozen in one place. People enjoy hearing about the past, but they also want to feel seen in the present. When we ask others about their lives, their hopes, and their struggles, we create a living connection. The most magnetic elders are not just storytellers, they are listeners. They show curiosity about the world around them. They ask questions and remember small details about the people they love. That simple act makes others feel valued. And when people feel valued, they want to spend more time with you. There are still several more habits that quietly affect how people see us as we grow older. Some of them may surprise you, and one of them is something many people do without realizing it. But before we continue, take a quiet moment and reflect on these first three. Sometimes the smallest changes in attitude and attention can transform the way the world responds to us. If you stay with me, then write continue below. Let us continue with another habit that can quietly make seniors seem less attractive over time. This one often comes from a place of pride, but it can create distance without us realizing it. The fourth habit is refusing to learn new things. Many people reach a certain age and begin saying things like, "I am too old to learn that," or "I have lived this way my whole life, and I am not changing now." At first, it may sound harmless, but when this attitude becomes a pattern, it slowly builds a wall between a person and the world around them. The truth is that life keeps moving forward whether we like it or not. Technology changes. The way people communicate changes. Even family traditions evolve with time. When someone refuses to try anything new, they begin to feel left behind, and sadly, others may stop trying to include them. I once met a grandfather named Thomas who proudly said he would never touch a smartphone. He joked about it often. At first, everyone laughed with him. But after a while, the family group chats, photos, and video calls became a big part of how everyone stayed connected. Thomas was not part of those moments. One day, his granddaughter gently asked if he would like her to show him how to make a video call. At first, he hesitated. Then he agreed to try. The first time he saw his grandson smiling from a screen hundreds of miles away, his face lit up like a child discovering something magical. Learning something new did not make him younger. It made him more connected. Curiosity is one of the most attractive qualities a person can have at any age. When someone says, "Show me how that works," or "Tell me more about that," people feel excited to share with them. It creates a bridge between generations. The fifth habit is becoming overly critical of younger generations. You may have heard someone say, "Young people today are lazy," or "Things were better back in my day." These words are often spoken casually, but they carry a tone that younger people notice immediately. Every generation has its strengths and weaknesses. The world our grandparents lived in was different from the one we live in today. In the same way, the world younger people are growing up in has its own challenges and pressures. When an older person constantly criticizes younger generations, conversations become uncomfortable. Younger family members may feel judged or misunderstood. Over time, they may share less about their lives. But when a senior approaches younger people with curiosity instead of criticism, something wonderful happens. Respect begins to flow both ways. Imagine a grandmother asking her grandson what music he enjoys, or a grandfather asking his granddaughter about her work or hobbies. Those small questions create connection. Wisdom does not come from proving we are right. It comes from understanding the people around us. The sixth habit is making every conversation about personal problems. As we grow older, health issues and personal struggles can become a bigger part of life. It is natural to want to talk about them. But when every conversation revolves around pain, illness, or worry, it can leave others feeling helpless. I once knew a man who spoke about his health problems every time someone visited him. Friends listened kindly, but after a while, they began visiting less often. Not because they did not care. They simply did not know how to help. Sharing struggles is part of being human. But balancing those conversations with moments of hope, humor, or gratitude keeps relationships healthy. Sometimes a simple question like, "How have you been doing lately?" can open the door to a more balanced conversation. When we show interest in others as well, the connection becomes stronger. The seventh habit is closing the door to new experiences. Life can become very routine after retirement or after losing a spouse. Days begin to look the same chair, the same television programs, the same quiet evenings. While routines can bring comfort, too much routine can slowly shrink a person's world. I remember hearing about a widower named Daniel who stopped leaving his house after his wife passed away. Weeks turned into months. He rarely saw friends anymore. One day, a neighbor invited him to join a small morning walking group. At first, he refused, but after some encouragement, he decided to try once. That one walk turned into a weekly habit. Soon, he began laughing and sharing stories again. Sometimes, the smallest step outside our comfort zone can reopen the door to life. The eighth and perhaps most important habit is losing curiosity about life. Curiosity is the spark that keeps the spirit alive. It is what makes a person ask questions, explore ideas, and remain interested in the world around them. I once met a woman who was 82 years old. She loved reading books about history and science. She asked questions about everything from gardening to space exploration. When people spoke with her, they felt energized because she was genuinely interested in learning. Her face carried the lines of age, but her eyes held the brightness of someone who still found wonder in the world. That is the secret many vibrant seniors understand. Growing older does not mean the end of discovery. It simply means discovering new things in quieter ways. Maybe it is learning a new recipe. Maybe it is reading about a place you have never visited. Maybe it is asking your grandchild to teach you something from their world. Curiosity keeps the mind open and the heart engaged. As we reach the end of this conversation, it is important to remember something very simple. Growing older does not make a person less attractive. In many ways, it can make them more beautiful than ever. True attractiveness in later life comes from kindness, curiosity, gratitude, and the ability to remain open to life. Every habit we discussed today can be changed with small daily choices. When we choose warmth instead of complaint, curiosity instead of stubbornness, and connection instead of isolation, people feel that energy. They feel comfortable around us. They enjoy our presence. They see the quiet strength that comes with experience and wisdom. If this message touched your heart today, share your thoughts in the comments. Write the words "still growing" below and tell us where you are watching from. And if you found this conversation meaningful, follow Elderly Roots for more calm and caring reflections that help you live with dignity, connection, and quiet joy in every stage of life. Thank you for spending this time with me. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.